in the group, but she's not opened it before.
Let me move to Michelle. You said you don't know any, you don't belong to any of the halls.
I don't.
Why?
Well, happy to be here, first of all, and then yes, I'm really happy to be, and I'm happy to be seated next to Moses. He's made a name for himself with respect to student leadership, and for me that's a good thing. I feel that I don't know anything. Well, it's not even I feel. I don't know anything about these halls because, you know, I was happy that when he started using a certain way, he said he was co-opted. It looks to me that the people are being recruited into the halls. People are being invited when they meet you in your first year or you're a new student. People see you and then they sort of recruit you as part of the hall. And so if you are a member of the school and then nobody meets you and nobody says, "Oh, would you like to join my hall?" Or
didn't he introduce his hall to you? Or
I think it has to do with the entire hall system and how people are recruited into the halls.
Okay.
Yes. We are talking about Mandela. In fact, we are talking about things that Mandela Hall has done over the past few months. T-shirts and all of that. How about the rest of the halls? We've not heard anything about them.
About those activities. Let's say, yes, I want to belong to this hall. Yes, and I'm even part of a hall. The communication, things that they are communicating on the platform, they don't engage. Would you consider yourself as such student?
I would not consider myself as an indifferent person or an indifferent student. That's not what I would say with respect to myself. I think that more often than not on our campus, one major issue that we face is that people are not engaged. You even generally when you talk about student elections, whatever it is, students, you could go to the and we could go on the right now. Things that some of these people in leadership or people are actually doing, which frankly are great things, but they just don't know about it because they are not engaged. And that is the basis of the problems that we face.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Back to you, Moses.
Now to your nation, you've mentioned your achievements, the challenges you face with regards to fundraising and all that. Yes, were you able to achieve all your goals before you resigned? And why did you even resign in the first place? Because I know you released a communique to members of the hall, but they say, some mentioned in the voice pop, that they are not really aware of the reason behind your resignation. They are curious and they are asking that, is your student ID still valid till now? Resignation came in last week. So what do you have to say about that?
Okay, so it's a multi-layered question, so I'll address them in that form. First of all, you asked if I was able to achieve all my goals
before you resigned.
Yeah. If you look at the and the Ubuntu Health work we're supposed to come out this semester. Apart from that, then what we set out to do as a league. Oh no, but they are my people.
Okay.
They know when I say kids, it's not in a derogatory manner. I just mean the first year. Sorry. So yeah, so with our younger brothers and sisters, we did it. Now, I released a communique that clearly the challenge here is that I think people want to fashion out their own reasons for my resignation. I don't know why I have released an official document that clearly spells why I'm resigning. It's not the first time in the history of leadership that someone resigns and states that he's going to explore other opportunities. And if you have a problem with it because I am resigning and you don't like the concept of that's a different case.
So some say.
So I'll address that. I'm not a coward. I'll address that. Now, let me take you back memory lane. I finished the second year of my diploma course and I applied for top-up. Now, during the process of applying for top-up, a few issues came up that I was engaging the authorities that are responsible for them to rectify it. So during that period, and this issue even came up during General Assembly's first sitting. And clearly, I didn't even fight my battle. The colleague General Assembly members raised the points that during this period, I am still a student because I had applied for admission. The admissions were not out. They were still processing admissions. And so, as at that time, the graduation had not happened. So I was still a student. So I was serving my tenure as Mandela Hall president till after the graduation where
But is there anywhere in the constitution that states that if you are a student and until you have been graduated, you are still a student until you are not
it is not
graduated?
clearly stated in the constitution. So
But
it means
why
that
were they pushing?
no. So it means that you need to explain what studentship is. Why does someone lose their studentship? I'm asking you.
I don't think my opinion matters.
Oh, it matters. We're just having a very nice conversation. To you, does your studentship end when you finish your last class in your second semester? Is that when your studentship ends?
Yes, exactly.
Then let me educate you. Then. Your studentship doesn't end when you finish your last class, because there are 2 points of entry in a university: when you get admission and you're matriculated, and when you graduate. Or else, if we are going by what you are saying, then there's no need for a graduation. The graduation is the passing out ceremony. That is what gives you the locus to say that I have left the institution. That's why there's a graduation ceremony, and that's why there's a matriculation.
So also let's say 3 years. So
Yeah.
if you are done with your second semester,
Yeah.
and the graduation comes after 3 years,
You are still a
it
student.
still makes you a
You are still a
student.
student.
But you said the constitution do not provide such article. There is no article.
Thank you. And Lord, there are gray areas. There are areas where the constitution is silent on. And so then you have to tap into other logical reasoning and conventions that have been applied. Okay. There are a lot of things in our constitution that is not clearly stated, but we do them. For example, when the president appoints the office of, for example, public relations officer or communication director, if you take the SRC constitution, there is nothing like that. But we just assume that because the president has appointing authority, the president is allowed to do it, appoint a communication director for the SRC. That's the convention.
But it's illegal. That
It's
makes
not
it
illegal.
illegal.
That's what I'm saying, that when you come to GA or in law, beyond the constitution, there are accepted practices and conventions that become the modus operandi. Okay? Because it is widely accepted. Then you come to understanding the legal framework of whatever words you are using. So when you say studentship, what makes someone a student? That is why, even at that point when they were making that argument, I finished the diploma, I think it was around October, but the student idea I was holding was till December. So even if we are going with the identification of what gives you the identification as a student. I was still a student even at that point.
But you resigned late. Even after graduation, your resignation letter came in late.
That is because you don't. There are processes that you don't come out to resign. That you immediately come out to resign. There are processes you go through. If you have a conversation with my executives, you can ask them when I sent them my resignation letter. What you saw is the announcement of my resignation. That's what you're getting wrong. When I resigned because the process for resigning is resigning to your executives, and they announce it. What you saw was an announcement of my resignation, which came late.
So
to them, I had sent the letter a long time ago that these are the reasons for my resignation. All that I had already sent the letter, but I think one of the other things that even delayed was even the artwork for the announcement of the resignation. The person was supposed to do was even delayed. You get it? So they were waiting for the proper announcement, because the way they wanted to do it with a message. And I was like, no, we've been able to build a very solid imaging and branding. So even if you're going to do announcement, let's do it well. So I said, okay, let's get the artwork. So to them, I'd already resigned. What you are claiming as being late is an announcement of my resignation. Whatever it was, I have come to terms with it, and I'm ready to move on.
A resignation letter to the executive,
Yeah.
The executive members of Mandela Hall. But members say they are not certain. The reason you stated in the announcements that we saw, it's not clear to them. They want to know the reason.
When I say that I'm going to explore other opportunities, okay, let me speak to you. Admission. For whatever reasons, I didn't get the admission. I say, okay, I'm going to explore other opportunities. I'm struggling to understand how.
They also, maybe it's because they are also alleging that you had there were some social media circulations about you and Kofi Nyameche. Yes. Yes, so for the SRC presidential position. On prime time, yes, we had on prime time bulletin, we had a 12 p.m. bulletin that we used to do. That was last semester, where my colleague Titus Owusu Dako, you made it clear to us that when the time comes for people to go for the SRC position,
Okay.
you were going to vie for that
Okay.
position.
Even if I made
And our
that
sources also
declaration.
indicate that could vie for that position. All of a sudden, after your resignation, we saw this social media banter and all that. And we saw that on your status.
So when you are drawing the linkage between that and my resignation, it's difficult because I had resigned before the banter started.
So that is what some students are alleging. They are alleging that you resigned because you fear that you might lose the election when it comes to that, or probably because Kofi Namiche has gathered the momentum when it comes to the freshers. Because what you posted, if I'm getting it correctly, he says he has even embezzled some freshers' money, and the way he was
if you want us to go
together.
into that, I don't have any problem going to that issue, but I'm still struggling to look at the linkage, because if I'm afraid I'll lose which I'm not even contesting, if I'm afraid I'll lose the election to him, what I have to do is to keep my position, so that even if I go for the election and I lose, I still have a position. That conspiracy theory is false. The banter with Kofi Namiche was purely student advocacy matters. It's very simple. Collected.
So wouldn't you have done that? Wouldn't you have done that by, let's say, gathering or moving to class by class to lecture house by lecture house to tell students, rather than doing it on social media?
Ramat. Sometimes when I've been on a lot of shows, and when the host is trying to be disingenuous, it hurts me. You are a communication student. Which of the platforms, and using your social media, which one will you use?
Social media.
So if I'm using my social media to push out,
but do you have all the people?
I have enough. I have a following. On a good day, 800 people watch my status, and so 800 people is a sizable number. And beyond that, a chunk of those people are IJ students. Okay. Now the point is that I wasn't even trying to damn the credibility of anybody. It was awareness creation and a call to action. You have done something wrong in my eyes, because you have charged unapproved fees from students, and these students are complaining. These are people who have come to me personally. These are people who have said that they've come to the SRC to deal with the matter, and nothing is happening. So what? The same way when the SRC had issues with management, and the measures of dialogue, etc. And what did they do? They brought it to social media. So if I bring to social media and I'm calling you out that, senior, this is what you've done, ABCD has happened. Please make sure that you refund the monies to the people. I don't see how difficult that is for anybody to understand. That's purely what I was doing. It has nothing to do with his political. I don't care if he wins the election or not, even though I, based on his track record, I don't think he deserves the position. But I don't care if he wins the election.
To the whole since level 100 when we came, and then he becoming the next president to the whole was kind of a quiet opportunity for some of us, because he's very versatile. Yes, I mean, he's supportive, he get opportunities for some of us. So we are kind of disappointed, but we disappointed at that part also, because there should have been some election to decide who becomes the next president. It wasn't supposed to be like they are choosing for us that we are in the hole. Okay, so with me, when I heard it, I felt so bad. Initially, I didn't even believe it was true until maybe I do not realize that it is as it is. I think that should make him resign, because Mandela Hall still needs him. That's what I say. We still need him to continue with his good works he's doing for the whole.
Okay, so you had some students there, members of Mandela Hall. Back to you.
The first lady, the latter part, is she saying that the appointing of Anuba Santua,
yes,
we are choosing for it? Oh, then let me explain it. I've not chosen. So per Mandela statutes, if you are resigning or you are exiting for any other reason, whoever is vice president becomes the acting president. And I stated that clearly in the communique I released. So I have not chosen her. It is synonymous with what happens at the national level. When the president exits the country, the vice president becomes the acting president, so the president returns. So she's supposed to guide the transition process till elections are opened, people file nominations, and a new president is selected. So it's not like I've chosen Asantua. She's per our statutes and conventions. That's what happens. It happened with Fati. When she resigned to become the SRC president, she appointed me as acting president till the elections happened and became president. So I think there's a form of miscommunication.
So they are going to, are you sure members of the executives, Mandela Hall executives are going to organize an election for them to elect another
It's not about whether I'm
president?
sure, it is what needs to be done.
Mm.
And I'm hoping that they would abide by the statutes and conventions. Right now, I can't force them to do anything because I'm an ancestor. I leave their business to them.
Okay.
But their job is to make sure that Asantewaa is acting, Annabelle Asantewaa is acting, and she needs to guide the transition process for a new president. If she wants to contest for the office of president, that's up to her. But she's supposed to guide the transition process till we get a new president.
Mm. But now, officially, have you been graduated? Officially?
Have I been? No, I'm still trying to fix the issues.
Mm.
Yeah, I haven't.
So you are still a student, if that's what you are saying.
The ceremony has happened.
But you were not part.
Yeah. So if I wasn't part of the ceremony, the ceremony has happened. I wasn't part of the ceremony. So there's something I must do to be part of the ceremony.
You said by your own words that
Yeah, of course.
the graduation ceremony is a passing out for students.
So you're not getting me. You said that I lost my studentship when I became a diploma, when I finished my last semester. And I said that is incorrect and false because there's a passing out ceremony for what? For students. You get the point. Now, you are saying based on that I should have resigned a long time ago. When I explained to you that this is the
I
timeline.
wasn't saying that. Actually, I played
Okay,
members
so
of your hall saying that.
Okay.
Yes, they said
So
your resignation letter even came in late.
Fantastic. Now that's fine. Now I feel that one, because of controversies like this, because some people might misconstrue it as unconstitutional, which it might not be if you look at the technicalities, I have taken the firm decision to walk away. And secondly, as I stated in the communique, I have other opportunities that I am exploring. And it might take my time and prevent me from becoming a very good leader of Mandela Hall. So I've walked away. Because
but you are still a student.
Because I have not fixed the issues, I am still a student, but I might not be a student who would have to sit in class. I have to fix all the issues and probably graduate. That's the point.
Interesting. Mitchell, let me come to you. What do you have to say about that? As someone who is not part of a hall, and here is a hall president who has resigned.
Yet he has not graduated, and what do you have to say about something like that?
Well, I think it's interesting. But I feel that in times like this, we have to refer to the Constitution, right? What does the Constitution say? And the Mandela Hall, I'm sure they have leadership, the executives. What are they saying about it? Yeah, so that they are actually interpreting what the hall, the document binding the hall wants them to actually do. And so, because, well, I feel that one thing that gives very clear red lines on this one is when you have ID cards, and I think it's been quite a while since I saw my ID card too. When you have ID cards that actually state the month and the year somebody should, by which time the person should be out, I mean that we will not be having this conversation. But I don't know if we have something like that. Other than that, then as he said, there are so many gray areas. And once you don't have any clause provision in the Constitution that's been clearly infringed upon, I don't think I have recourse to say that this is untoward or this is inappropriate. So that's my feel about it.
Okay.
Moses, when we played the voice, you also heard some students say you have been a good leader. I mean, you have helped them and a whole lot, and they are going to miss you, and they feel very disappointed about your resignation. But before we move to that, can you please share to the student body the reason why you are saying you are still a student? Because you've been denied admission. Let me put it that way.
I've declined to comment on it because I've explained that in many folds, and I don't know what more you want me to say. So whatever deductions people will make for my previous submissions, I think they should make the deductions because I have explained in many folds why. Because I have told you that there's an entry point and an exit point. I missed the exit point, but probably that does not give me the locus because you see, let me go into the technicality since you want me to do that. So I might be a student who has not registered for a course, so I can't sit in a classroom. But I still have outstanding issues I have to deal with. And that's the point here. I will not go and register for a course because I don't have the locus to register for a course. But the outstanding issues that I need to fix and pass out. And that's what I'm focusing on. I think the general understanding of who a student is someone who sits in a classroom. And I think that is muddying the waters. That is not the explanation. The explanation is that there's matriculation when you become a student and there's a graduation. Those two things have happened, and for some reason beyond my control, I missed the exit point.
Mm.
It doesn't mean that I have to go and sit in a classroom and be studying or anything like that. Whatever prevented me from exiting, I have to deal with it and exit. But beyond that, I have decided that I've done it.
Mm.
The announcement of the resignation came late.
To the members.
To the members came late.
Okay.
And you can't put that on my doorstep.
So would
because
you
I followed
blame your executives for that?
I won't blame them. They had their own reasons.
Mm.
But from a legal perspective, I am supposed to. So, for example, you work in a company. Somebody has resigned. The person sends their resignation to the letter to what? Their boss. The boss accepts the resignation and may decide not to tell the employees that what someone has resigned. You get the point. The fact that the boss, so maybe 2 months later, also, I mean, who Kofi was Kofi, doesn't mean that Kofi did not resign. No, it means that you are not hearing that Kofi has resigned, and that's a testament of what really happened. And you can ask some of the close executives. I keep telling them, oh, but for their own reasons, they want to do it right and do it well. And in their eyes, I had already taken a step back and walked away because of controversies like this. Because the last thing I would want is to amplify controversies when there are actually good things we could be talking about. All right?
Thank you very much. We will go for a quick breather, but then before we go, you had some students who say they will miss you and then you've helped them. So we would want you to advise them. Probably if we are going to have someone like you, like they said, if they are going to get someone like you to also guide them or lead them, they are going to enjoy them. So let's go for the breather. When we are back, then you advise the students about a short breather. But if you are just tuning in, just as Radio GIJ 97.7 megahertz, and this is the leadership focus where we try to shape tomorrow's discourse. Moses, back to you. Yes. So before we went for the breather, I was saying that some members of the hall said they are going to miss you and then they feel very disappointed with your resignation. So what advice would you give to student leaders so that they are going to become successful leaders to the extent that when they resign, they will have people still missing them, like members of Mandela are missing them?
The foremost mantra of any leader is it's not about what you do when you come in, it's about what happens when you leave. And it's refreshing that at least, even if it's one person that felt the true weight of my leadership, it's refreshing to hear that they are unhappy that I'm leaving. If I was leaving and all of them were happy, then probably meant that I did not do anything. But yeah, by we all need to understand that nobody's bigger than any institution. Probably only Messi was bigger than Barcelona, but nobody's bigger than any institution. And most of them who engage me personally are like, oh, come back. I keep telling them that I'm not bigger than Mandela Hall. Mandela Hall is an institution. And so we built a system where whoever comes in must succeed and thrive. So that's the point. I feel like I've carried the burden to a certain point. It's someone's time to also carry it forward and into the future. Now, the advice to, you want me to advise the members or the current leadership?
Members, current leaders, student leadership.
Student leadership in general. Oh, okay. Hey. Student leadership, yeah. Whatever they want to do, they will do it. It's not my advice. I'll change them. But let me share. There are a few principles we want you to abide by. First of all, there is the concept of servant leadership. And those who follow John C. Maxwell would understand what servant leadership is. That is the principle I expect that the foundational leader should always abide by. That you are a leader because you want to become a servant. And the foremost model is Jesus Christ. He became a leader because he wanted to serve the people. And that is it. That is why, if you look at my interactions with the freshers, with the continuing students, I come down. If you want to talk to me 3 hours, I'll come down and sit by you and we'll talk. That you need to make them feel like you are serving them. That is one. Don't develop a God complex because you're a president or a vice president or a general secretary. Don't develop a God complex because you were a student leader. You were a servant first and foremost. That should always be resonating with you. 2, you should always understand that it is important to create impact. And you create impact by rolling out initiatives. So you don't roll out initiatives because it is eye-catchy. You need to always understand what is the end goal, how are students going to benefit, what is going to happen to them. And that is what should inform of the crafting of initiatives that you roll out. And 3, your integrity must always be in check. That whether someone is looking or someone is not looking, you're always seeing or you know you are doing the right thing. These 3 things, I think if you put them in the pot of good leadership, whatever stew or soup you're making would really taste well. That's what I think.
But with regards to the halls on campus, Mandela Hall is kind of active than.
It's not kind of. We are the only hall on campus. The rest are drama troops and
Really?
yeah.
But on what
Women's
basis
fellowship.
are you saying?
Oh, come on. The outsider, even the outsider has heard of Mandela Hall. Then that should tell you. Listen, the point is, we've been blessed with good leadership over the years.
So can you please share with us the secret that makes Mandela Hall active for on
If
campus?
I tell you my secret, if I give you my blueprint, how they would also follow that blueprint.
They are all students and they need to strive. They need to feel the presence of the halls.
So they should join our hall. And we will
So
we should decouple all the other halls and they should join our hall. Very simple. But that's just I'm just jesting with you. The secret is simple. We take the work we do at Mandela Hall serious. And sometimes if you look at the way we go about our initiatives, some students think that that is how the attention to detail and the way we have imbibed the spirit of the hall, that is what sets us apart. So it's not like we are just part of an organization. We feel like it's a family. And when you become a leader in the hall, you are given a burden of responsibility to make sure that what you contribute your part to enriching the hall. I don't see that in other halls. Other halls, I probably think the whole system is just the halls just exist. That's what I think they think.
So how would you advise them to make their halls active?
Image and branding. That's the first thing. Image and branding is key for me. That is always the first thing because you see, because we don't have residential halls where people walk to, the way you do your communication about your hall is very important. The taglines you have, the things you see, some of the things, very simple things like what we see. So if you say Mandela or someone says Ubuntu, you say Mandela or someone says I am because you are. Those catchy things, as little as that, are able to pique interest in the hall. So you need to, your imaging and branding must always be on point. You don't release flyers or you don't do communication because you just want to do communication. Every single time you do it, you must do it well. And that's what you call settings. It's not settings, it is PR and branding. That's what it is.
Okay, back to you, Michelle. Your last words.
Well, my last word will be that I think it would be advice to your show, your producers to bring on the other leadership of the other halls so that we ask them what they're also doing. Because we frankly don't see them.
The other hall members.
The leader exactly they are doing.
So from today, do you think you have
as a business? So for me,
Hall president. So
that's
making that comparative analysis is a bit
okay.
Yes. Please, do you have something I want to say? I mean, your last words.
Last words. Okay. Let me address this Kafina Mitchell, blah 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 thing once and for all. I think he's not that relevant for me to want to resign for real because of him. He's not that relevant. If he does something wrong, and he also has the prerogative to call me out too. That's one. Two. Since your platform is a very big platform, I'm stating to record that my business with IJ is not finished. There's going to be what I call the unfinished business, and people in due course people will understand what the unfinished business is. But for now, I have washed my hands from. I'm just assisting the transition process at Mandela, and I've washed my hands off. It doesn't mean that I will not be concerned about matters in IG. So if you see me on campus and I'm here to witness it doesn't mean that. It's like telling me that Johnny Hughes completed IG and he has no right to comment on. Those who make those comments are really. I will comment on it day and night because I am an alumnus of the institution. That is two. And three, I want to thank every single member of Mandela who reposed confidence in me and paid their loyalty dues to me during the time I was president of Mandela. It's been a watershed moment for me. It's been one of the most beautiful experiences because leadership is a very beautiful thing. Because from nowhere, you become president and people automatically start being loyal to you. It's a beautiful experience. Someone I don't know, someone is older than me, will see you and say, "Oh, Presido, what do you want us to do for you?" It's humbling, and I enjoy the experience a lot.
The prestige that comes.
The prestige that comes with it. Let nobody lie to you. But I was always cognizant of the fact that I was still a servant and not. I didn't develop a God complex like some other leaders are doing. And so for me, these three things are very key that I want to communicate. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to clearly. I think it settles the matter. Anybody else who has issues and things that didn't anything on toward the judicial committee has been idle for a while, you can take a matter to the judicial committee if you think you have any issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Moses, Desire Koyo, and Mitchell. Yes, if you just tune into this was the leadership focus on Radio GIJ 97.7 MHz. We're also live on Facebook, our Facebook feed, Radio GIJ 97.7 MHz. But we are not done yet. Yes, we are not done yet. You have a lot of our shows to enjoy, but we're also going to meet next week, same time, same day. And I'm Ramat Bashir.
Before you go, today is the International Day of the Boy Child, and you see the way the women are silent about it. Let me use a platform to
Please, you would have to pay for that airtime because our time is out.
When it's about men, we have to pay for the airtime. It was the International Day of the Woman. Let me just say that for every boy and man that is out there, I just want to share a solidarity message that you are loved. Don't let society make you feel like if you have emotions, you're a bad person, you are not a real man and all that. If you want to cry, cry. If you have issues, talk to someone because you're also a very integral part of our society. We love all our boys, we love all our men, and we pray that the women will stop showing us shaggy so that we can live long lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Moses, to the male child out there. Yes, I would like to thank my producers. They've done very well. Rashida, Ibrahim, and Justice. They helped with this production. And thank you, my guests, for joining me. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. I am Ramat Bashiru once again.